Hello all, and welcome to the stream. We got a lot of work to do for the code jam today. I think most of our code will be generated for the game today. We've got so much to cover. I haven't had much time to work on the game, admittedly, but today we do get a chance, so let's make the most of it, right? There's a lot. Boy, there is a lot. Right now, I am making a dialogue system. That way we can display some text to the player. And where did all the function names go? Oops. But yes. Lately I've been busy. I haven't really pressured myself to like really work on the game, but I figured I might as well still produce something. Try to produce at least my vision. So today I think the biggest things we're working on is the dialogue system and the puzzle matching, and probably the ship like world stuff, as in like being able to encounter them, collect them, maybe battle them too. I have a list of moves I want to implement and a whole battle system for that. That's probably going to be tomorrow, if I'm being for real. Alright, so the way I'm doing this dialogue system is kind of interesting. It's actually just going to be a static instance of like one instance of a dialogue that gets constantly overwritten. So create actually instantiates it. With stuff, but I think by default we're doing null pointer t, I think it is. Is that right? That doesn't seem right. Type name is not allowed. I think it's... There's something you could put here. I think empty might actually do it. But I think I can also just do release or reset. I always forget, right? In any case, by default there's nothing in there. So I think it's already like that. This is an instance to a dialogue where we get to set the text. The onComplete function to... I didn't even put something there for that. Yes. Technically, this is const as well. So when these two are created, they'll get instantiated with all this stuff. So I guess we are going into create here. Or are we? Wait, hold on. No, that's not right. We have to do standard. Create or make unique. That's what it is. Gosh. Of dialogue. Text. Wait, it doesn't have a constructor. How are we supposed to... Hold on. Make a constructor for this guy? With these items? It's gonna be a private constructor? I guess it's gonna be a private constructor. It's kind of interesting. Because you're actually going to call the static function to create it, because we're creating a singular instance of it. But we don't want the... myself to be just creating them on the fly, just having stray instances of it. I think. I don't see another place where this system would be useful, so I think this is the right call. Who knows? Maybe later I'll be like, oh, the scrolling text functionality of this is useful, and maybe I'll pull that out or something. Who knows? What's going on? No default constructor exit. Oh yeah, we need to... Oh, that's what it is. We have a trigger thing, because the trigger is going to be used for other stuff. So I call trigger and pass it on complete, I think. That's how that works. Hopefully. Hello. Const standard function void. That should work. Why is it not working? Hello. Or is it cool? Hmm. No instance of constructor matches const standard function void ampersand. Alright, hold on. I gotta check this again. Oh. We had to put the... Duh. I don't know how I missed that. That was a typo. Hmm. Anyway, we do this and assign it to instance. Like so. Is active is whether or not I'm trying to think what I meant to do with this function. Why did I call it is active? Oh, like if we have a dialogue, okay. Or like, maybe I should just call it exists. Is, I'm just gonna call it exists. If a dialogue exists, use this function just to trap other keybinds, game inputs from happening, from occurring. Something like that. So this is just return whether or not instance exists. I don't know how we would detect, I guess, is not equal to null pointer t. No, there's a thing for this. I'm like pretty sure. A nullable pointer. Okay. Null pointer underscore t. That's a type. Specifies the type as a pointer-like object which can be compared to standard null pointer t objects. Null pointer. Is it just null pointer? It's a PR value of type standard null pointer t. I guess I could just put that then. I feel like there's something else I was supposed to use, but I guess that works. Anyway, this is when we close the dialogue. So we have update. We need like we have an onComplete function, as in like when we press a key, it's going to advance it and do something. I'll be right back. But of course, the whole point of a dialogue system is to display text. So we have the text, we're gonna have our, we'll just have a counter, like a number, to determine, use a 32-bit int. What do we call this? We call this the cursor. And it starts at 0. But yeah, as we go along, we spit out the text and display it. How we display it is going to be left up to... the window? Yeah, I guess the window. Because I have a window system, by the way. We have a file called theme. It can draw a window. All we're going to do is we're going to attach a dialogue to, like, dialogue system to all this, so we can call, like, create dialogue window. And that will attach a dialogue to this. When we press a key, it'll stop, of course. I'm just trying to think how this is all going to shape up. But the whole point is every once in a while, we have a timer. I think I already have the, yeah, frame time here. Frame time ticks down. If frame time is less than or equal to 0, then I will display another character, reset frame time, and go from there. Oh. I thought I turned off the desktop notifications. It's funny. Okay, anyway. Reset to game settings, frame time per character, advance the cursor by 1. The cursor will max out though at the length of the text. Text dot length -1. Yeah. Or text style length. Let me think about that for a minute. If I advance the cursor, what does that mean? I want to display everything. Here, let's just write a function for this. We're gonna need to anyway. Get text. And we also need a function, a control, for advancing the text. So we have a string view for that, and a... I don't know why I have references for the string views, that's kind of pointless. Actually, I think you're not supposed to do that. Because I think the string view is already referenced, so making a reference to the string view is like, well, doubling down on it for no reason. It's like you're just creating more references for no reason. Advance to end. So this will be used for when the player like spams the key. Like if in a dialogue system, the text is going to scroll at a moderate rate, right? But if the user wants to just see all the text already, they press another key and typically advances the whole thing. That's what we want to do with that. It's a control for it. So we'll add those two functions as well. Like, this year has been kind of weird for me, in terms of just programming in general. Everything feels so clockwork, you know? It's like, everything I'm doing is so mechanical. I know what I have to do. I know what features my language has. I know how I have to do it. I'm just sitting here, watch myself write out what I know I need to write out. This is all so clockwork now. Not necessarily a bad thing, but at the same time, it's like... So we're gonna do substring from 0 to cursor. It's like when you know everything just has to be done, it's kind of like it's kind of like a slog, right? Like it's supposed to be fun and exciting, but when we get down to the nitty-gritty of it, everything I'm doing, I already have like a plan of attack. It's just a matter of actually finishing it. And that, I don't know if that's good or bad. It can go both ways. It's like, I think some folks that are learning to code are like, man, I wish I knew all the things you knew. But at the same time, knowing all the things I now know, creating code is no longer about exploration. Sometimes it is, rarely. It's like it can be. But like, you'll often see like any like errors I come across, I'm like, oh, I know what to do. I forgot to do this, I forgot to do that. Or like, I come across a bug, I'm like, oh, I forgot to set this. I forgot to reset this. This isn't supposed to be here, move this here. Create a new class to separate these two functions. Like, it is also, everything's been figured out, right? I don't really have... I guess when it comes to these, I always have a plan of attack and then just really stick to it. Yeah. The hardware 3D stuff was cool to explore though. Let's see. Still has. Just really want some iced tea for some reason. Feels good. Yeah. But yeah, interesting little it's like a little bit of thought there when it comes to programming and learning and excitement. I think I have everything I need here built for the dialogue system. We need to make it so on complete also just resets this. I need to like, can I make a new lambda with this lambda included? I think I can. I just have to copy it. Yeah. Because what I need to do is inside of here, I need to say, okay, take this instance and destroy it when we're done. So we'd pass in instance, or wait, we haven't made instance yet. Well, since it's static, right? Can we just grab it ourselves? Thinking here. I just have access to this? I suppose I do. Because it is a static variable, it will just exist. I can call it like so. I think that's all I have to do. This is interesting, I've never done this before, but like, we can add to this function and say do this as well. Like this function will call itself plus this, set it inside the trigger. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Because here's the idea. Maybe after a certain dialogue tree, I want to give the player something. Maybe I want to start a battle. maybe I want to make something happen on screen. In any case, what can happen after a dialog box is completed? Maybe I want to do nothing, right? When a dialog is completed, I needed to delete whatever the dialog instance is and potentially do some more stuff. So this trigger system exists not only for dialogues, that's why I made it a class in itself, but I think it'll be useful for other things too that might need to be triggered off of things. So far we have draw window. I'm gonna make another function called like draw dialog window. I think that would be the next logical step. We can go from there. How do I handle this? Let's see. Let's just say we have an optional dialogue, and if it's active, then we do dialogue related stuff. I think that's fair. I think whenever a window's open, it's fair that we can't actually act. So, like, we, the player, can't move around and stuff. So I think that's already taken care of through here. So let's add a standard optional dialogue. And then we say in draw window, if there is a dialogue, we will start displaying the dialogue. And how we render it will change, of course. Then we'll make a function for, instead of calling it draw window, draw dialogue window with the dialogue text itself and potentially a draw window, just the draw part, yes. How about I'm kind of tying these two together, which I don't like, because originally my goal was to use dialog create. But if we use dialog create, we have to create a window based off of that. So is the dialog going to control all the windowing stuff, or is the window going to control the window stuff? That's interesting and not... Think. Also, I totally didn't finish drawing the actual window with the border and stuff, so we still have to do that, actually. But this is kind of a dilemma. I kind of wanted to make it so I called dialog create, and the window pops up. And that shouldn't really be a problem. Like, that should be fine. I should be able to just do this, and then do... Well, okay, so what's... I guess what's the issue here? Because we have draw window. We have to call this constantly while windows popped up. It's like something else is going to control the state of the game saying, hey, is the menu open? If the menu's open, draw this window. So there's that. This is literally just to draw a window frame on the screen. So drawing a dialog window makes no sense here. In other words, we still have to make all the drawing aspects of it work after the fact. Okay, I think I understand now. So not only do we do this, but we're gonna have a draw dialog function while a dialog is active. Okay. I think I'm starting to understand how I intended to outline this. So with the dialogue, we always draw a window. We're drawing it somewhere on screen. I'm always going to have the dialogue window be the same size. I think I want it to be 2/3 the size of the screen. So let's grab the game. And then let's do... theme draw window. I don't know why I removed those. So already a geometry 2D? Yes. So I don't need that. I do need to include the util though. Okay, so we start from 1/3 of the screen off. So I just do game, get screen size. Is it screen size or is it get width? I don't think I want that. I think I want screen size. So we'll do screen size multiplied by 1/3, comma. We want the X position. Was wrong. Invalid narrowing conversion. Okay. Fair. Do it after. The Y position will be... I don't know, let's say... 80 pixels from the bottom. The reason why I use 80 is because in my head I'm thinking, okay, maybe 64 minus 16. Or I said from the bottom though, so we do get screen size again, dot y minus 64, and then another 16 for the border to make 80. Something's wrong. This should be a position. And then this should be a size. Too many initializer values. What? Draw a window once an int? That's not true. Oh, this is a problem. Me still fix. Do that. Okay. Width is 2/3 the screen size. Height is 64. But again, too many initializer values. It's like not detecting this is the right thing. Draw window. Const geometry. Do I not include the util? I thought I did. Oh. Something's... God. After we draw the dialogue... Oh, I changed the default theme, by the way. or not the default font drawing for this game. So it's gonna be interesting to see that. So we will draw the dialogue here, and we will have to include wrapping. Get text. Position is whatever the upper left corner is. That's this. I'm just gonna window upper left. Anyways, I needed that. We're gonna start it like... I guess I'm gonna need the size as well. Here's the window size. Window size. At this point, I might as well just wrap it up in a rectangle. Window. Put these two in there. But then again, if they're always split up like this, right? Might as well leave them split up. God, I just did all this for nothing, but whatever. What is going on? Local... Expected an identifier. What? Something went wrong. Did I do a dumb? This looks fine, right? That should more or less compile. I don't see why it wouldn't. Now we have get text. Color I'm gonna leave for now. Actually, that's interesting. With the themes I have, the text coloring is gonna need to be a part of the themes based on that, because these colors are probably not gonna work out. Like, it's white by default, but I don't think white's gonna work out for this. Alright, we have to convert to a standard string. Ugh. Why do I not just return it then? That would be better. I forgot all of the PGE functions just use standard string references. But yes, I need to change it simply for this. Okay. Let me try to compile it and see what it complains about. Because it will complain about something. Oh, see, oh, Geometry 2D must have been included before the PG. Forgot about that. Element 2 conversion from entity requires a narrowing conversion. Can this be in a float, actually? Yes. Inline, illegal token. What? Oh no. I have to go find the... I added a macro called S in game settings just for this. I need to like undefine it. Like, oops. Silly. I just wanted to save a little bit of typing there. Redefinition of dialogue. Dialogue redefinition. As in redefinition of default. Oh, I see. Default argument. Same with this one. Should compile now. Cannot access private member declared in class dialogue. Oh, because the unique pointer tries to call the constructor, but it's private because it's a... Okay. Fair. How do I stop myself from accidentally creating one, though? That's the thing. I don't want to accidentally create one, but I'm using a constructor for dialogue to create one. So do I remove the constructor and just manually set the members? I think that's what I have to do in order to make this work. But even if I specify, let's see, so if I specify nothing, the default constructor works. I can delete the default constructor, but then this doesn't know how to make that, right? Like, make unique will call the constructor? I have to call some kind of constructor, or this doesn't work. Kind of at a loss here. The only way to do this is to not use a pointer. If I don't use a pointer, it will just exist, but then I have to have something that turns it on and off. That way it's like, is the dialogue active if the dialogue's not active, right? Then I don't need this constructor, because I can just set it myself. I think I like that option a little better. Just a little better. And here we have is active. By default is false. We set it to true when we are alive, and then we return exists. by saying return is active. To replace all instance with instance, and then instead of this, we just set them. So we set is active to true. We set text to text, and we set. We don't set on complete though. This is a conversion. Should be. Oh, it's const. I have to get rid of that now because we can't use const if we don't have a constructor. So the only thing we have to do is set up the trigger. I don't even know if I can at this point. Like, we can trigger it ourselves, but we can't instantiate... We can't initialize the trigger again unless I give myself friend class access to this to do it myself. Or I just make a new function called change trigger. Right? I don't think calling its constructor again makes sense, but can I technically do that? I can say instance trigger. Trigger. Maybe I can? I've never done that before, but I think I can call the constructor that way. Yeah, there's nothing saying I can't do that. Just... it's very atypical. And then this, I need to pass in me, my instance. Or is it already here? Wait, we don't have to do anything. No, we have to set it inactive. Yeah, because I just realized this instance is already carried through here, so. I might even be able to do this. Nope, never mind. Okay. I think this is more or less where I want. I've never done this before, but that's cool. Private stack class dialog instance doesn't exist. Instance? What? Oh. We have to initialize it. Attempting to reference a deleted function. Ah. Right. But if we make it private, it should be inaccessible and it'll just exist, right? We don't need it to do anything. We just need it to exist. Oh, and then we set up trigger, which we're just gonna make an empty thing. Null opt. I think that's what we use for functions, more or less. No? Do I just blank it out? I guess I blank it out. Okay. Anyway, let's get the next part of this, which is, the dialogue itself up here. Because that's not the dialogue, that was just a test of a window being drawn. Right here. So now, I think what we're going to do is we're always going to call... Let's see. We're going to do something like this. If dialogue... First of all, we have to include it. So if dialogue exists, we're drawing a dialogue window. That might be all we have to do there. Dialogue draw. And then let's just create a dialogue somewhere. Okay. We'll just trigger it manually for now. So on key press. Dialogue create hello world. And then we can do a test of the second one, of a continuation one, and say on finish, create another dialogue called this is a second message. So this is one way you can like chain multiple conversations as well if you want. So nothing happened. Unless return isn't what I think it is. Is return the... Hold on, is return the numpad key? Is that what happens? Let me see. What is return then? If it's not for... If it's not enter. Or just straight up didn't work. Okay, this worked. I was expecting to see this, so... So yeah, I think we'll see here that the trigger function gets replaced. Yeah, it looks like it's getting copied over, so... Good things. And it died. Okay. Why did it die? Oh, because it's a reference. Hold on. It doesn't return a reference, it returns a brand new string. You know what it should do? Hold on. Instead of a copy, it should fill out a string view for us. That's what I would like it to do. So I guess either way, we have to make a copy of the string anyway, no matter what. Whether we like it or not. Okay. Fair enough. It's not a big deal. Hello world. I don't think that's what I intended with the box. It's supposed to be starting out 1/3 the screen width. That's definitely not 1/3. But it being 2/3, is that 1/3? There's no way that's 1/3. There's absolutely no way. Oh, I think it is. Yeah. Okay, I'm just thinking 1/3 is a lot smaller than it is. I want more like 1/6. 1/6 with it being 4/6 in width, or 2/3. I think that stays the same. In my head, I think that's what I was envisioning. Yes, something more like this. The text doesn't scroll, or it scrolls way too fast. I can't tell, so we're gonna... Or we totally ignore the cursor. Let's see. Whichever is smaller, the length of the text, or instance.cursor plus 1. We do have to set the cursor, though, when we create it again. Set back to 0. Maybe that's a problem. Like, I don't see it update, so I'm just gonna do, like, times 50 or something. I want to see it very slowly update. Just to make sure it's working, right? I mean, the text just straight up appears. So that's no fun. I'm gonna do this right away and see what... Well, we don't call dialog.update. That's another thing, right? Instance.cursor 0. Does substring 00 return the whole string? Maybe it does. Like if I do substring 01, that should return one character, right? Nope. It still says hello world. Did I just hard code that text? Is that really what I did? I hard coded hello world in the dialogue? God dang it. Wait, but that's draw... Okay, draw window has some default text. That's the problem. Okay. This makes more sense now. And we didn't call dialog.update, which is why the update part is not happening. Should I just do update and draw all at once? I've had this dilemma before where I'm just like, if we don't have anything specific to do, then I don't see why we can't have the draw and the update be at the same time. Especially for something that's going to be in front and takes up the whole thing. Like, to me, these two should be together. I guess I can also just grab the elapsed time through the game object. Like, that's what I'm starting to think. I did this before with things where the timing won't get affected by like pauses and stuff, which is Windows. Literally the window pauses the game. So this is a perfect time for something like this, where the draw and the update go together. There we go. Oh, it's so tiny. You need a magnifying glass. I forgot the resolution for this game is pretty large, isn't it? 1280 by 720. On my monitor, it looks tiny, because I just have a gigantic monitor, but like... Yeah. Obviously the text is not going to be this small, but like... that is the nice thing about using this hardware rendering for 3D, though, is that no matter how much we resize it, it's gonna run just fine. Doesn't have to rescale or anything. So that's great. But yeah, the text is way too tiny, obviously. And I don't know about white. We'll see. Because yeah, there are a couple different themes and some of the themes don't quite work. Okay, that's fine, other than the text being right up against the edge. I need to add like plus 2 or something. That should be fine. Wait a second. What? God. What happened to my camera? Oh, I pressed the camera controls by accident. It's like nothing. Let's try like 8. Okay, that'll work. I feel like I'm gonna need at least 2 or 3 lines of text, so I think it's only natural I expand it by like 3. I'll do 192. Everything else kind of adjusts other than that, yes. And then I got the pretty borders. There are supposed to be borders, I just didn't. Okay. That looks fine to me. Very typical dialogue box. Let me try 3 lines real quick. Hello world. This is a test of 3 lines. Okay, I like that. That should be just fine. You know what? I could combat this by adding black text underneath. That's a good idea, actually. Offset by 2. Cool. Simple yet effective. Could go farther and just do shadow e-text. Maybe I will. Might be too much. We'll see. Int I or x in standard ranges iota view from -1 to +2 for int y in standard ranges -1 to 2. Black text. What do we think? I actually think I want it to be thicker, but it's looking more readable. Just more. I need more. Let's do like... So get text is copying every time. That's the only thing I'm worried about. What if I just put it out here? Display text. Let's get text, and then we just do display text here. In here. I feel like the compiler will automatically optimize this out, but for my own ease, because I'm gonna do more of this. Oh, now it's just like... Oh, also my frame rate has dropped massively. Which is expected because of how much I'm drawing now. I could bring in my draw shadow text code if I really want to use this effect. Maybe. I don't think it'd be that hard. Let me see. No, not in Visual Studio Code. Grab a modified version of OLC Pixel Game Engine and grab the shadow text. Draw shadow string prop decal. It does require the decal data system to do this, which did I revert back to, hold on. I think I reverted it. Yeah, I think I did too. That's interesting. Trying to remember why I did it this way. Hmm. I have a feeling there's something I'm missing here. I think it's... It's clear I changed back to another system at some point. I'll be right back. Oh! Oh crap, this has been out for a minute. I remember how I did this now. I did it the stupid easy way. So the way I did a dialogue system, or the shadow text, was I literally loaded up the font image and added shadows behind it. Which is funny because I'm like, oh, that sounds so obvious, and yet it's like, it's one of the things you never just think to do, right? It's like, oh. But once you do, you're like, that makes sense. On this, it's gonna be a little tricky because I'm gonna have to move some of the characters, which means I have to redo some of the text-related stuff for it, or I could just draw it underneath it too. Let me think about this. It would be 2 draw partial rotate decal, or 2 draw decal codes instead of 1. So I'm doubling up the cost. Well, I'll be honest, if I just offset all the letters by 1, I'll be fine? Question mark? Let me think about this. I don't even know what the size of these are. I think they're supposed to be 16. Yeah, that looks right. So they're currently all like resting on a line. So yeah, I can do something like shift them all over, and then inside of the PGE, just adjust all the offsets. Character spacing, I think it was. V char spacing, maybe? V spacing. There it is. If I remember correctly, the first one, or this is supposed to be how... Wait, where do I specify the... Is this really the spacing data? Like, this is supposed to be the width, this is supposed to be the offset. So if I change all these offsets to be 1, I think we'll be in business. We'll super be in business. That's what I remember the first one being. The second one is the width of the character. I am pretty sure that's how this works. So now, I'm going to take all these, move them over by 1. The text should still look the same after this. I'm just going to check that real quick. Okay, looks the same still. And then, instead of doing this, now we just add shadow text to everything here. Yep. It's really gonna be that simple. Just like that. And that accomplishes the exact same thing. We don't even have to make it fully transparent. We can make it slightly translucent if we wanted to. And that would be just fine. Or we can even do this. That's kind of cool. Literal glowing shadow text. But I would need to make more space for that. That's a cool idea, actually. I might do that. That might be fun to try out, huh? Let me just... I'm gonna have to center these letters, though, because clearly they can't be here if we want to do it this way. It's gonna be like... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5. I think 5 looks right to me. Or it's 5 total. So here, instead of 0x1, it's now 0x5. And yeah, select these again and start coloring them in like this. Maybe on a new layer. And we'll see how that looks, right? I think it'd be cool. Oh, what the heck? Why is it just black? That's weird. Not what I was expecting at all. That's... yeah. What is going on there? I'm gonna guess it's the shader. Man, is it really the shader? Because I know the shader actually discards, or I made it discard. So I'm gonna guess it's that. If I take this out real quick. Oh, never mind. It's... that's straight. Oh, you know what? I know why it's doing that. I have the for loop still. Get rid of that. Duh. Okay. It's a little better, but I figured it was going to be too egregious if I just... yeah. If I just make it consistent, like, black underneath, that might work fine. So what I'm thinking instead is every character just has, like, something underneath, and that would work. I know I could probably just do this through regular drawing too, like under every character place something. Let me think about this. So what I'm thinking is do this. You have like maybe not for spaces. You just have a small gradient, right? Black. Black. It doesn't matter. Make it shaped. And I want to let me. Wrong layer. There we go. What? Oh, there we go. And instead of white, we want it to be transparent on the other side. I want it to be transparent. Why won't it let me change it? Hello? Hold on. Something's wrong. Custom. Oh my gosh, go back. Please. I like how the thing is not changing. Whatever. Black. Okay. I need to undo what I just did. Yeah, something like this. It's not to be anything fancy, just... And maybe not shaped like that. Maybe we just do... What is happening? There. Maybe I'll just draw it out. I guess it doesn't have to be perfect, does it? Or maybe I just want it centered around each letter. Oh no. I'd have to see how this looks, because this could look weird too. It just like cuts off randomly. Not to see. Just a fun little idea to try. Why to copy the what? Oh, shoot. I thought I was doing this on an entirely different layer. That's annoying. Do it again. Cool. Let's try that. Just want to see how it looks. So yeah, it's still all boxy. I would have to do, it would have to be like circular along each character, which I can do, just be like this, be like this. Again, I don't know how this is gonna look every single one, but I would like to at least try. It might be fun to try and make something where they are shaped based on the entire word, though. Like, they're connected among words, but then separated between words. So it'd be like a circular polygon that's all connected until the end, and then, yeah. That would be kind of interesting, I feel. Hello there, CodeLivian. Did that even work? I don't think that worked. Oh, you know what? It's because it's stretched out, that's why. Still looks weird. Oh, because it's also based on... Okay, I see. No, I'm just messing with shadow font stuff. It actually gets cut off at certain points. I didn't think about that. Crud, that's why it looks funny. Drawstring prop decal does that. Well, that makes this not a good technique then. Alright, back to the original plan then. Which is just doing one of these. It's all black. Let's see here. So let's go. Like that. Should be fine. All right. That does not look right. What did I do? Oh, I think I have to... Even though I said the spacing was 5, it should really be 4. Did I put this card back? I hope I did. No, I didn't. Okay. So I need to change these all to be 4 because one part of the shadow actually needs to be included. And it leaks back by 1. That doesn't look right. Oh, I have to also extend the width by 1 extra. Oh my gosh. 4, 7, 6, 7, 4, 6. God. I have to do all these. 6, 8. Or I add +1 in the actual code that parses this. That would be smart. That would be smart. Let's go do that. Because I don't want to... Oh, it's actually right here. +1. I think this has precedence. I'll just put parentheses, just to be safe. Oh wait, no. I think I'm supposed to add it here. Hold on. Bit shift 4. No, that's correct. There we go. Wait. Exclamation point is wrong? How is exclamation point... Has exclamation point always been wrong? It says it's 2 wide. Well, it's clearly 3 wide, and then it's 4 offset. Maybe this has always been wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it is off. For whatever reason. I think it's the only one that is off, but maybe it got miscounted. Or assumed that that was the case, and then we said it was 2 wide when it's really 1 wide. So it's always been off. Okay. But yeah, that's more or less what I want. That way the text is super readable. And it doesn't tank the frame rate. The shadowing is just in the sprite itself. It's a trick I used in my other game too. Oh, let me add the trigger real quick and make sure that works. So when we press key, we advance. Let me add this to game settings. include the PGE. Hopefully your entry is coming along well. I have a lot to do, of course. Been busy. I think tomorrow's gonna be most of my jam day, but tomorrow is literally like the last day to really crack down. And then obviously Sunday's cleanup. For me, I have, if I theoretically wake up in the morning around my time, I will have about 4 to 6 hours to clean up whatever I want with the game. So it's like, there's not really much time left. There's basically 2 days. So it's cramming time. I'm gonna try to get what I can done, at least my initial vision. Stress time, yeah. I couldn't put in much this year, but it's okay. I'm still gonna try and make a cute little game. Like, I basically just have to do a bunch of engine stuff. Drawing levels. Fair. I'm gonna have to do 2 towns, which means I need to make like at least one more building, and then I can just like color palette swap the colors. I need at least one more building. I need another town. Well, I need 2 towns, and I need 4 explorable areas and the final area. I kind of already know how they're mapped out in my head. I just have to actually make them, of course, and the actual details I haven't thought of. It's like, what do I add in the low world to make it interesting? But the gameplay loop is very simple. The game is going to be pretty simple in and of itself. It's just going to have a lot of little systems. Let's see. We'll see what I can get done. Yeah, good luck to you too. So I was just making a key for confirming. Confirm dialogue. Enter space, whatever. Maybe I should have multiple. Sure. Multiple. Why not? Key enter. Key space. Key Z. Key shift. What else would people randomly press? Enter, shift. Can't think of anything else. That's probably fine. Return. Escape. No, I'm not. I'm gonna leave escape for something else. I still remember my first jam entry for olcCodeJam 3 years ago. I literally said I was going to use just one key, literally, to do everything with. So it's literally just movement keys and then one button to confirm everything. It's a very interesting choice, but as long as I provide a couple of keys that make sense, then it's fine. Alright, so anyways, we press one of these keys. I think I'm just gonna add a helper function for that. Be like, yeah, the action button. There's literally only an action button and then movement. Because the idea was, since the Pixel game engine was available on, or was able to compile for web, for some reason I really wanted to make it so I could play this on my phone's web browser. So I'm like, okay, if I just make the controls that simple, then literally I can add touch controls for the directions, and a tap would be the action button. And that's literally what I designed my control scheme on. It was an interesting choice, but I haven't done it since. I don't really plan to. It was just an idea a long time ago. If there was more time spent on making some functions that accessed the JavaScript mobile API, then that would probably make it a lot more accessible, but I don't really want to focus on that. So there's a couple of neat things you can do with mobile with JavaScript, but you have to mess with the touch API and stuff. Anyways, for this, I say, if get key, like I'm thinking of literally making another function, get input, maybe? Yeah, I like that. Where we just accept. Do I want to return? I think I want to get input pressed, and get input released. Because I need to detect it across multiple things, and I want to specify a vector containing keys. Action name. And I might just call this action, and then go from there. I think that'd make sense. So it would look something like this. Put this over here, actually, where I do using standard vector key equals action. As? Thinking of the wrong language. I'm pretty sure you just put it next to the thing you want to use, but let me see. Using directives, using declarations. Using namespace. I clicked the wrong one, didn't I? Using something, using namespace, using him, inline. No. No. What am I looking for? Oh, type alias. Using identifier attribute equals type ID. Is it that way typed? I guess it just didn't. Oh, I think it's backwards. Am I dumb? I feel like that's supposed to work, but for some reason it's not. See what compiler says. Compiler says missing type specifier. Well, okay. That's because it's not compiling. Let me think about this. Why doesn't this work? Like, can this be anything else? Am I just using it wrong? Looks like I'm using it wrong. Because even that doesn't work. Huh. I could have sworn this was supposed to be fine. But I swear I've used this before, like in other things. Like what? How? Why? How? Why? How? Like, I've definitely used it in other things. Like this. That's how it should be. Oh. Oh, now you're okay? Okay. Now you don't mind? Okay. So now we just have to fix these. I guess I misread. Like, I thought it was actually complaining about this. It wasn't. Okay, so for these, we iterate through all inputs and see if we can find one. That works. Can we use ranges for this? I feel like we can. The one thing I've been practicing is how to use ranges more. I really like the concept of ranges, and I want to keep like trying to use them, learn them. They've been very helpful so far. So I think I want to use the one that goes until it finds one, I think. While, let me see. I think it's called a while view. Take while. But at the same time, this is more like just filtering out. It's not that the compiler realized, it's that I It's that IntelliSense was catching up. Compiler was already like moved on past it. I just read the error wrong. The error was talking about the thing I just fixed. I just didn't add the functions in, but I thought the error was related to what IntelliSense was complaining about, which was not the case. Take view represents view of the elements from an underlying sequence. Safely takes only up to number size elements. So a take view has a count. So yeah, if I say take one, it will only take one element. Okay, so let's try that out. A take view. Never used this before. So if we do whatever the action is, instead of calling it action name, I'm just gonna call it action. So if I do action views take, and then I set this to result, then what I should be able to do is interrogate it for the, because it's an iterator, but it gives me a size, and we return a result.size. Wait, no, that's not right. We have to figure out if it's held. So we have to take while view, right? A take while view as in we have a condition to satisfy. Do we have a count? I literally just want to find out if one is available. So I guess we say drop while view, a view consisting of the elements of another view, skipping the initial subsequence of elements until the first element where the predicate returns false. Because we want to find one that's true. Once we find one that's true, that's it. So I guess we can just do a standard filter view, right? Like, I guess so. That's really what we're going for here. I'm trying to make this more complicated than it has to be. A filter view with any of these available is all we need. So we can just say filter. Actually, we could even return at that moment, couldn't we? That'd be an interesting way to do this, but we're inside a lambda, so that doesn't really work. key. Return key dot, or we have to do get key be held I want this, please. Wait. The enclosing function, this cannot be referenced unless it is in capture list. That's what I want to do, but it's not letting me? Question mark? This should work, more or less. I mean, I could do ship game, which would also work. Is this a pointer? No, it's not a pointer. Expression preceding parentheses of a parent call must have pointer to function type. What? That doesn't make any sense. I'm very confused. This should... Like, I should literally be able to do this. Compiler? What are you doing? This looks old. Like, it shouldn't be doing this unless for some reason... Let's see, because I defined this in game settings. Oh, I guess we don't have game settings, do we? Game settings, which would include action, so we know what that is. Ah. Well, that doesn't fix this, though. Let me see. Do we have recursion now? No, we don't. Okay. Shep game get input function does not take 0 arguments. Oh, now we're down here. Get input game settings. Confirm dialog. Then we just have to solve this. Term does not evaluate to a function taking 0 arguments. A function taking 0 arguments. Oh, this is... God damn it. I do need this though, right? Yes. And then we return result that's... What is this? This is a filter view, ref view with the size, right? Object type is filter view. What? Bool. Matches the argument list. It also... What? So confused. Anyways, I assume size is like literally a... Huh. This is... God, reading these is so annoying. I assume it's just literally a number, but apparently not. You'd think. Standard view size. The default implementation of size member function obtains the size of the range by calculating the difference between the sentinel and the beginning iterator. Returns an integer equal to the size of a range. Standard ranges size. That doesn't make any sense. Why would... so this is... It says it returns an integer. Is that not true? Right. Object type is const standard ranges size. You know what? I think if I actually change... If I auto this, it'll probably work, but Goodness. It's just this is like a special type of size, even though it says integer. Actually, it says calculates the number of elements in t in constant time. It doesn't say anything about it being an integer. The expression range's distance can also be used to determine the size of a range. Unlike range's size, distance works even if E is an unsized range at the cost of having linear complexity. Whenever range's size is valid for an expression E, the return type is integer-like. A type other than bool is integer-like if it models integral or if it's an integer class type. Integer-like type assigned integer. I mean, we already know this though. Like, I figured I would have been able to use this. No function satisfied its constraints. God, why can't it figure out what it is on its own? Like, do I just cast it at this point? Is that what it needs to do? It can't realize itself? I don't know. I guess all I do then is I iterate through them myself. And just return it myself, because apparently that's what needs to be done. I can't just count how many elements are in there and return that. But I guess that's also more effective, because then it means I can just return right away once I know there's an element that I don't need. A const key. Oh well. Gotta always experiment and try, right? That's why I really want to learn, like, to use these ranges, because the ranges library it's got a lot of interesting stuff behind it. It's just a matter of getting used to the syntax and its quirks and how it works and what you can and cannot do with it. Yes. So I guess this is fine for what I'm going for. So any of those keys I press should do this. Any of those keys I press while the dialog is created should advance it as well. So in here, in draw, which is also the update, I should change this to update and draw. I get confused when it only says draw. And then we can say if get input inaccessible, oops. Those should definitely be public. And then we're going to say get input pressed or release. I think for dialog systems, we like released. We'll continue. Yeah, I should really do release, not press. Well, press to initialize, though. That's fine. Or actually, this will keep going over and over every frame, so it needs to be pressed. But released. Oh, also, no, that's right. I was like, wait, is it just going to iterate through all the inputs and return true always? But no, it's not. Oh, God. This should advance it, so we're just going to call, don't I have a function for this already? Oh no, it's the trigger. We call trigger. Trigger. A non-stack member reference must be, oh, it's a instance.trigger. So that will cause another dialog to pop up, I think, because I called dialog create again and stored it in a lambda. Yes, so it will just do the same thing again. In theory. Draw is not a member of Pixel Game Engine. What the fuck? We've really messed up. There must be some recursion going on here that I didn't realize. Probably when I added... Let me see. What did I do here? Probably I went game settings and... No. It's like when draw is the problem, you know something's fucked. Which header did I add recently? It was, well, I was messing with dialogue, right? I was just adding stuff. Including game settings doesn't matter. Including trigger doesn't matter. Backing up here, including game settings doesn't matter. Did I really do something that bad? Let me see. Because we were compiling before. So let's just review changes real quick. Can I view everything, please? All changes. Game settings, we have... Let me move this. We added Pixel Game Engine there, that's fine. Shep Game gets game settings.h, which is fine. Pixel Game Engine just gets... Oh! I did a find and replace on the entire... Oh, it literally thought this draw function was this. Oops. Oh, shit. That's hilarious. Okay, yeah. We have to release the key first, and then we have to do another press after. So we have to wait for a release before we can detect another release. So I guess I'll just add that myself, because that's fine. Wait for release key, set to true. But also, it's more like we have to wait for a release not held. That's what we need to do. We have to wait for not held. Because if we wait for a release, what if like we pop up a dialog window without having to press like a key? This is just for this case, right? So that might not necessarily be a thing. So we'll do instance, wait for release key is true when this happens. If not, wait for release key and this. If we are waiting for a release key, then we're checking for not held. Then wait for a release key is false. It didn't work. This would be on the same frame, so it would trigger immediately after. So I need to put that below. The ordering actually matters. Cool. Although I keep just resetting it because I keep just pressing that key. So how about we say if... Where's on user update? We can make sure this function works too. And not dialog exists, then we create a dialog. If a dialog already exists, we don't want to pop up the dialog again, which kept resetting it. Okay, it just closed. It's not supposed to close. It's supposed to continue to the next dialog because we have this lambda here. That's supposed to do that, so this isn't working right now. Okay. This should lead to here. So like what I should be able to see if I use the debugger is if I put this on multiple lines on purpose, then what we should see is trigger, if I put a breakpoint there, will go to that line afterwards. So it'll go to trigger function, and trigger function should go to there. If it doesn't, then something went wrong. So trigger function goes to... It didn't. So what that's telling me is the trigger is empty and didn't get updated. So maybe this didn't work. Like, this should have been set, but clearly it didn't. Maybe it just calls this, but it doesn't set it for this instance. I feel like that would be weird, but let's just fix this up by actually making a set trigger function. Set trigger. So if I just do this, then that'd be fine. I feel like what I was doing was not correct, like wasn't proper C++ or something. Just doesn't feel like it's working. It's definitely not doing what I want, so. That's const right now, isn't it? No? So we'll just call that. And see if that works. It doesn't. It does not. Like, it should call dialog create again if it were to trigger. So there's that first one. And then... oh, it does it again. Let me see. Text is this is a second message. So is active should be true. Wait for release keys, reset. Set a trigger. This trigger is a little different. Or, well, it's empty, actually, so there's not going to be a trigger after this. And then it should go to update and draw. But it doesn't. That's interesting. Why doesn't it do that? Because trigger... oh, oops. We just set is active to false after. It should be is active as false, then call on complete, because that might set it again. So it wasn't that the trigger wasn't working, it's that I had a bad set of events. So maybe this is still fine. Maybe that is valid C++, because I was hoping that would work initially. Okay, and then abort has been called. Abort. Abort, abort. OnComplete has no... oh, I see. Because it would be the trigger would occur, but only, we have to say if on complete, because we're assuming there is something to do, but there might not be, so it's running a dead function. I feel like a dead function should just not work. Also, we're not waiting for that release key for some reasons. I have to figure that out still. And then I have to flip this. Is that what I did before? Yeah, I had to flip it. Cool. All right. Simple enough. Okay. Final thing I want to do, when I press it while it's scrolling, it automatically goes to the end, but it does not continue. So we're going to say if cursor is equal to, well, here, if cursor is at end, is cursor at end, instance.cursor is equal to the text length, then yes, the cursor is at the end. So we advance, else we're going to advance it to the end. Let's try that. So if we have a long message and I just want to skip right to the end of it, we should be able to do that. There needs to be an if statement here. It's not working. Okay. Wait, that doesn't work. Well, first of all, what that should have done was instantly put it at the end, because that's what it would have done anyway, but it didn't. So either this code is not working or I goofed. Oh, this else statement is for this if statement in here. I'm nesting this incorrectly. I have to be really careful about stuff like that. So I'm just going to do this. That's fine. And yeah, what I'm looking for is that input release still. So it'd be like, so either way I'm looking for this. We still have to press the key, and then depending on if the cursor's at the end or not, we do this or not. That's how the logic works right now. So, boop. I think for that, we want it on press, though. So this is actually going to turn into two different things. So if cursor at end, and this, and that, do all this. Press feels good for stuff that we need happening, like immediate actions. Release feels good for things like text advancement, where you might want to confirm exactly what you're doing right before you make that action for sure. It's like just hold on for a second. That's when release feels good. So if not cursor at end, get input pressed. But that also means I have to set the dang wait for release key again. Because we have to wait for another release if we do this. Which means this has to go underneath the initial check to set wait for release to false. Okay, press does feel better for this too, now that I'm really feeling it, so we're going to change that to press as well. Good. We have to make text wrapping now, because this text doesn't wrap, I just manually put in those new lines. But let's do this, add dialog system, add in input controls. Yeah. Add in windowing / theme system. The windowing / theme system is actually not done though. I didn't draw the borders. Maybe I should do that real quick too. So for the borders, this is supposed to be a border actually. I don't see it, so it's either underneath where it's supposed to be or not appearing at all. Since I don't see it, that's a little concerning for me. It's entirely possible I just goofed on where it actually is supposed to draw it from. That's supposed to be position, not size, so I don't know why I did this. Yeah, what the heck? This is supposed to be the position on the sheet, which I think is 0, 0, if I'm not mistaken. So that's kind of weird. And then... oh, am I using this one? Hold on. I might be using a different version of the function. No, I'm not, because this would be where the decal is, the source position and the source size. So the first one is the position, second one is the source position, and then the source size. The source size should be 8, I think, or 16. I think it's 8 by 8. Let me see. I'm gonna look at this in a second. Oh, I think they're 16 by 16. Yeah. So 16 by 16. Wait. Yeah, I really butchered this. Source size 16. 16. This is supposed to be the position, which starts from 0, 0, and then you add for y this. So that's how that was supposed to be. This is scale, which is going to be 1, 1. Actually, it's probably going to be 4, 4. But we'll see. Actually, I think it's going to be... no, it's going to be 1, 1. Yeah. Because it's already 4 by 4. Or is it? It might be 2. Maybe? I mean, I kind of like that. Actually, it might be cute to just have corners like that, wouldn't it? I was originally gonna like stretch it out and make this whole thing rounded, but maybe I'll just do that. That's kind of cute. I kind of like that. Maybe if I make it a little larger. So if I go 2, 2, push it back by 4, 4, That might be perfect. It's actually not PG pixels because these are decals. Decals don't respect the pixel size. Funny enough. Or maybe they do. You know what? These ones do. I'm thinking of something like draw line decal, where it literally just draws lines using the base pixel size. It can't scale it just because of the way it's designed. And like, yeah, anything involving drawing lines doesn't scale with the pixel size. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Not really anything else. Yeah, the line is an exception. If you do a draw rectangle, the outline for that draw rectangle also wouldn't work. Same idea. Like, it would just be a 1 pixel wide line, no matter what. Okay, I kind of like this, so I'm actually gonna go with it. I forgot the resolution for my game is really, really high. I'm not used to this. I'm not normally making a game with a really high resolution. Just this. But because it's hardware 3D, the 3D engine can run really fast. So for once, I get to actually use a really large window size. Gosh, of course. Load. Normally PG games are very small. Oh, some of these are way off. It's because they're not centered. If I actually do the math, let me see. This would be minus 16. This one would be minus 16. Minus 16, 16. Okay. I have to add 8 more because they're not centered. Okay. That's still not right. Minus another 8. Okay. Now that's correct. I'm feeling like adding a smaller window inside and having a border type of deal. I think that would look nice. Let's try that. So I'm actually going to shrink down the window size a little bit. I put them all in variables, so that's easy enough to do. Plus, this is the actual frame right here, so if I just modify this, everything else will follow. Except, this kind of has to obey the outside rules, so it'd be like I'm adding to the border along the outsides if I push everything out some more. So like, for example, I would really make this window size be a little larger as a reference point. I'd call it like window frame. Is going to be window.pause minus another like 4 pixels, and then window.size add another 8 pixels, and this is the actual frame that I want. Something like that. Did that wrong. So instead of using window dot, now I use window frame dot. Well, actually, I'm gonna keep this as window, like the inner window, but the outside window is gonna become window frame. Which pushes those out more, and then there's gonna be a rectangle that outlines the window frame instead. With another color, not this color, but like, I'm just gonna make it blue for now, and go from there. Just to see it, make sure it's there. Okay, cool. That's more the effect I was going for. So whatever we want to put there, maybe I'll do a little gradient thing. Can put whatever, but that pops it out more. Let me just think what I want to do with it now. I think a gradient would be fine. Maybe a vertical gradient. Black on top, white on bottom, or like maybe whatever the theme color is down to white, or maybe something like that. Or maybe even down to transparent. Not a bad idea. A lot of ideas there. Let's see. Gradient, fill, rect. Okay. So I guess we can start with the theme of the window. Bottom left, let's just go for transparent. Maybe, hold on. I need like a version of this color, but transparent. Actually, I don't know if gradient will gradient to transparent. I feel like it should. Transparent theme color. Should be this, but RGB 0. Oh wait, it's not color, it's pixel. I hope so. I've never actually tried that before. Why am I on top right already? I should be on bottom. Oh, I see. Because I don't want it to go to black. I want it to stay the theme color, but... Okay. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so it does do that. And that more or less is the effect I'm looking for. Could even, like, animate it if I wanted to. It would be really cool to have it, like, move around, kinda. I think that was always, like, a cool effect, but I've always wanted to try it. I don't know if now's the time to be messing with it, but it would be kind of cool. Let me think about that. How would I do that? So I think I would have... I could map out the entire... all of this into one value. So let's say take the perimeter of this shape and scale it from 0 to 1. Increase that value over time, however long I want it to last. And then based on that value, that determines what each of these four corners are. The closer they are to, like, this corner would be 0, this corner might be like, I don't know, 96, this might be like 120, this might be like 200, and then this would be like 220 or something. However close it is, it determines its opacity. And then you would kind of have this like traveling line effect based on that. I think that's the concept. Can mess around with that real quick. Might be fun. Let's have a look let's pull up an example project real quick. Mess around with that. See how we like it. So let's do a gradient, fill, rect, decal again. Do it from 64, 64. Let's make it 128 by 32 or something. Blue, red, red, blue. Using namespace olc. Okay, a little tiny. Let's go like 256 by 192. And why are we 1 by 1? God. Okay, so draw an outline of some sort. And we're just gonna separate these into 4 individual corners. Call them C1, 2, 3, and 4. Start them all as white. I think that's what they default to, actually. Could be wrong. Or black. They'll either be white or black. Make this like a 4-pixel border. Okay, defaults to black. Let's make it white, just as a starting color, and then go from there. So the concept is figure out what the perimeter is. Util should provide that for us. Include util, geometry 2D, geometry 2D, using namespace olc utils. Excuse me. Does that not work? Oh, utils geometry. No, yeah, that works. Just wasn't updated yet. Border is 60, 60, 136, 40. Border.pause, border.size. Still doesn't like this for whatever reason. Geometry 2D must be included before pixel game engine. It is. One would think. Oh, hardware includes PG, that's why. Okay. And then perimeter is border.perimeter. So now we're going to normalize it. Norm P is going to be P or not P. We need to have some kind of like timer. I'm just gonna call it t for now. Starts at 0, and we're going to increment it over time. So let's say t plus equals let's go add like 0.5 per second, like so. So we normalize p by doing t divided by p. T maximizes or reaches 1 and then resets. Or we just loop it here. We can fmod it. That's another option. I think we could figure out what the lengths of each side is too, to figure out how far apart these are. So like, top, let's say, so we got top left. We have to figure out where position-wise all these are, right? Within the system. I don't even know if we need this. We probably don't need norm p, but we'll see. So top right in relation to the entire thing is going to be whatever the top's length is. So if we did border.top.length, that would give us where this is, and then we normalize that, I guess? Like, I don't even know if the normalizing is helpful. I feel like it can be, because then it's easier to think of the entire thing as a track from 0 to 1. So normalizing is probably a good thing here. We would just take this and divide by p, so we can normalize all these like that. We probably don't need the norm p then. So that's top right, and then we have bottom right. Bottom right is the top's length plus the right side's length. And then we just travel around again. Bottom left is, we can actually just take the perimeter and subtract the left length in order to get where the bottom is supposed to be. So let's just look at these values. They should be from 0 to 1. A is not a member. What? What? A is not a member of VF2D float. Of V2D float. I mean, A is not a member. The fuck? Oh, we must be using an old version of Geometry 2D. Let me update that real quick. Classic. I don't even know what A would be, but apparently Hardware 3D needs it. I'm not even using Hardware 3D, but I'm kind of curious now. What is A? A is... What is A? Okay, not for that. A. Oh, it was probably conflicting with Geometry 2D's vector class. That's right, because they all relied on different defined macros for each other. Top left is 0, top right is 0.38, bottom right is 0.5. Is bottom right always going to be 0.5? Yes, for a rectangle that will always be true. Bottom left is 0.88. And bottom left should be 1 minus TR, so we can simplify the maths a bit here. So really, we can derive all of this from just from checking the top length. That's fascinating. Shapes. Geometry. Whoa. Oh wait, that doesn't work. Is it? It's top right. Wait. Wasn't it like 0.88 before? Hold on. How? Hold on. Because it's... You have to account for... Oh, you do 1 minus the left side. Yeah. Okay, so you do need the left side. Or you need 1 plus bottom right? Or no, not 1 plus. Top right plus bottom right? That sounds correct. Because the length of the top should be the same as the length of the bottom. And you already know what right is, because right starts at 0.5. Yes, so that is correct. Okay, cool. So we can derive all that from just knowing what the top length is. Pretty chill, just making progress where I can. Mm. Okay, with that out of the way, t gets incremented. This stuff is calculated. So that determines how much transparency these are going to have now. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the alphas based on the distance from these values. Now I have to consider, like, how they wrap around, because this is the weird part. Top left represents both 0 and 1 at the same time. It's like those circular numbers. It's like, in reality, I need to know how far away it is from 0.5. Because 0.5 will be the largest distance that this t value is away from the top left. So if I do 1 minus t, which I'm wrapping around, right? If I do, wait, no, 0.5 minus t, or f mod t, to 1, then what I'm going to end up with is a value that that's at a max 0.5. Take the absolute value of that. That's the distance away it is from us. That's literally the definition of absolute value. And so, I have something like that. If I just advance the frame a little bit to something random. Is t not going up? Oh, it definitely is. Why am I getting 0 constantly? How is this not working? Why is fmod not returning what it should be? What? Hello? Doesn't let me go into fmod. Weird. Maybe because it's an int? I don't think that matters. Absolute value doesn't do rounding, as far as I'm aware. Fmod doesn't do rounding. Am I just thinking of the... Am I thinking of mod F? Is Fmod different from mod F? Hold on. No, right? It's Fmod, I'm pretty sure. Fmod. Well, I guess technically the most correct answer is Fmod F. That's existed forever, but Fmod is a templated version. Returns the floating point remainder of the division x over y as defined above. Okay, that's what it should be doing, yes. I agree. And then doing 0.5 absolute value. Does absolute value do something different? I'm pretty sure it doesn't, right? Not going insane here. Absolute value computes the absolute value of the integer. Oh, it's an int. It only does ints. Why? Is that really the definition? Is absolute value really just for integers? Oh, fabs. Absolute value of a floating point value. But wait. A is a uint a t, so it wants to deduce down to an int. Right, I have to convert this afterwards by multiplying by 255. That would do it. Oops. That's my bad. Okay, so now, based on the distance away it is from 0, it gets higher or lower. So this should get closer to... It actually only goes up to 0.5, so I need to multiply that by 2. Because the range of it will be a lot more drastic. But that also means... Does that mean it goes down to 0? Yes. So now the range is actually 0 to 255. So when it's very close to 0, it should be very close to 255. When it's kind of far away, it should be getting less. When it's like exactly halfway, it should be very tiny, which is what we're seeing here. So that works. The top right distance will be similar, it's just where this is will be offset. So the t is now at 0.25. So I can either subtract or add. I think I just subtract by 0.25 to get all the rest of the values. I'm pretty sure. Like so. And then if we look at it now, sort of getting there. That's kind of what I'm looking for. It's good enough. Good enough for what we wanted. Make you go the other way, then they'll just be in reverse. Can I wrap this up into a nice little... I don't know why it does this at first. It's kind of weird. Or maybe that's how negatives work? Maybe it's because it's negative? Like, it did that at the beginning too, right? It went negative on me. Like, if I just did this, maybe. Yeah, negative mod gets funky. So, positive makes more sense. But if I want to invert the direction, I guess I just inverse the result. So instead of this, I would do 1 over this. I want it inverted. Good God. I have to invert the right value, though. It should be 1 over this calculation, the 255 calculation. Or not. Hold on. Am I being dumb? I can... Oh, I just do 255 minus. That's what I do. And those are all multiplications, so they should happen first. Makes it go in the other direction. So can we wrap this up into a nice thing, or do I just include it as is? Let's see. Let's make a lambda out of it. Draw, what do we call this? A rotating border gradient rect decal. All right, what parameters do we want? We definitely want position, size. I'm gonna wrap those up into a nice rectangle. Rect. We're gonna need to choose a color. We'll have to choose the direction. Bool rotates right. And the rotation speed. I think that gives us what we want, for the most part. Rotating gradient rectangle decal. It probably looks cool without the background, or without the other square covering up too. Let me see. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's kind of fun. Anyways, we can fill this in. So border becomes the rect. P becomes the perimeter of that rect. Include all this. We're going to assume this is going to go in the PGE itself. So it will have direct access to gradient fill rectangle decal. Border position, so instead of border, this is just rect. So all the colors will be set to the same value and then modified as such. If elapsed time, we'll just say get elapsed time. And the rest is taken care of, minus the t value. So this is interesting. The t value itself needs to be stored somewhere. I'm just going to call it t. Make a reference. It's going to be increased. Modifiable L value, yes. That should more or less do the same thing. Let's try drawing one. Draw rotating gradient decal. Mark decal at position, let's say 2020, make it 300 by 120. Just gotta go off screen, I think. Color, let's make it red. T is T. Rotation speed, let's say, is 0.6. And rotates right is true. We didn't actually implement rotates right. But I will implement rotates right after. Also, that 0.5 I think was hard-coded, but it should really be rotation speed. Like, that one should be rotating at a slightly different speed. God. Makes for a cool effect. Well, actually, it's both the same variable, so right now it's rotating at twice the speed it needs to be. Yeah, they both use the same variable right now. But yeah, that's that. Oh, that's actually a good point. The T should not be rotated inside of here, which means the rotation speed is not required. It's just the T is required for referencing, but it's not going to be rotated inside of here. The rotation has to happen outside. So we determine the rotation speed outside wherever to be whatever we want it to be. Cool. Let's implement rotates right real quick. If rotates right, then c1.a equals c1.a minus 255, or 255 minus, so on and so forth. C2, 3, and 4. So let's say we want to rotate left. This all changes, doesn't it? Yeah, that goes away, and we say left. That didn't work. Why did it not work? Oh, because I still have the 255 minus in there. So now it means rotate left. I think it's still it's rotating right still, but it's at a different pace. I think to rotate left, you have to go... Huh. Let me think about that. You have to flip these. So, like, this is actually corner 1 now. No, but that still wouldn't result in... Oh, it does. Okay, cool. There we go. Yes. That is rotating left. Oh. Thanks, CodeLivian. Good luck. Long night waiting. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I bundled this up in a nice little function. I'm just gonna insert that now over to my game. I don't imagine I would need this elsewhere, so I'm just going to do this. We're going to specify game right here and include game, of course. Need a T variable to just track internally. I think it could be static because nothing else is going to use this, but I'm worried other stuff might call this, so I'm just going to do static float T. But then again... Yeah, it could probably be in here. I don't think it'll be a problem. And increment it by whatever we want. Let's make it like... I liked 0.5 or maybe 0.4. Somewhere around that value feels pretty good. Draw rotating gradient rectangle decal using window frame, color, We got T. And we got rotates right is true. Should really be that simple. Oh, it's rect int. Cannot deduce. I guess not. It's going super duper fast for some reason. Too wild. Alright. Why is it going so fast? Is it being called multiple times? That can't be right. Oh, I put plus. Wow, nice. Good one, Sig. Cool. I like it. It's subtle, but it's also nice. It's cute. I like it. I feel like I want a second one, like just a black border around all of this. Just like one more. Even all before this, so it'd be like window frame dot pause minus another 2 window frame dot size plus 4, and I just want it to be black. I feel like that might seal the deal. How are we feeling about that one? And maybe an inner border. Okay, so outer border and then inner border. Right along it, actually. I think I'm supposed to shrink it, not grow it. Or keep it the same? No, shrink it. Oh, it's supposed to be an outline. Either that or I need to do it here. Alright, how are we feeling about this one? Pretty good, I think. I like it. Maybe I want that one to be gradient. Let's try that. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think I like that. It's a little magical, right? Just a little bit of subtle animation in there for funsies. Kind of just makes you wonder what the heck is going on with that. Cool. Add in gradient, rectangle, outlines. All right, what time is it? 4:45. I do need to get some food, but this will be helpful later. I had to do text wrapping. I still have to make the actual game. God, there's so much to do and so much I'm gonna have to do tomorrow, so I'm going to take a break for now, but I'll be back later. For those of you that tuned in, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you later. Bye-bye.